Hey, thanks for coming on this week's podcast. This week, we're going to talk about how to improve your web presence for AEP. For those who don't know me, my name is Ken French. I created a company called Snoozy back in 2009. It's basically a husband and wife company. Me and Kerry, we do have a few IT people we also employ. But long story short, the two of us grew up in the insurance business back in the early 2000s. We used to have a family-owned business that was kind of like an FMO, a general agency. We worked with independent agents. We helped them obviously grow their book, sell various products. Long story short, that company got sold right before healthcare reform, and the two of us started our own company really to help agents build websites and maintain their social media presence. What we're going to talk about today are three key areas you need to be aware of before AEP hits. One, you got to be aware of what people are finding when they're referred to you and they're using their phone to background check you. Two, you got to be able to have a website that's functional, something that you can use before and after the sale. And three, you need to have a game plan with customer service. You might offer incredibly personal service, but what's your service like if you're on the phone with someone else? We're going to give you some tips on how to improve that. So I think the first thing you got to be very aware of is pretty much everyone's got a cell phone now. And, the insurance industry has gotten very saturated with agents coming into it. And long story short, the people that are getting referred to you, you might not be the first person they're chatting with. You might be the third or fourth person they're chatting with. So you have to understand that they might have had bad experiences with other agents. They might be doing a little bit, of extra diligence on you, just to make sure that you're the person who can help them. And probably what they're doing first is they're using their smartphone and they're Googling your name. So here's a sample of one of my clients. And you can see all I did was type in their name and what comes up. Well, number one, this gentleman has an agency website. That comes up first. Two, he's got a LinkedIn profile. Three, he's got a Google business page. And if I can kind of scroll down a little bit, you'll see that he's got a Facebook business page. So my point is that these things, if done correctly, are going to be the first things people find when they're Googling you. You need to make sure that you're controlling the narrative, that when they do check these things out, you have a game plan in place to show that you're the reason they should call you. The biggest mistake I see a lot of agents making right now with their website is the websites are very focused on the products that they offer. And the reality is everyone offers pretty much the same products. So in my opinion, your website needs to be geared more about selling you and your expertise and using the website as a sales tool. So your website really needs to have your picture. And I'll just kind of pull up a sample here. It really should have, obviously, some branding, right? This is a sample, Michelle, the Medicare lady. Here's her picture. Here's an overview about Michelle. Under About, you can see there's a page called Why Should I Work with Michelle? Obviously, a good overview of how she works. You can see that she also mentioned she does in-home appointments. She does Zoom calls. All of this is very upfront and center. She also has a pretty good testimonial section where there's different little stories here from people that she's helped, just giving details on the things that she solved. So, in my opinion, that's number one. If people are coming to the site, it's not about all these different products. It's about why should they choose you. Again, they might have talked to 3 or 4 people already and they haven't been impressed. Number two, you need to make sure that if you have a social media presence for the business, that you're accountable for that social media presence. And what that means is if people are finding it and they're going and checking you out on Facebook and LinkedIn, yeah, your pages, they have to be set up correctly, right? We need your picture, we need your branding. Most importantly, every day there needs to be good educational content on there about the products you're selling. If somebody comes to your Facebook page and you haven't posted in 12 months, you look like you went out of business. And, I hear it time and time again. People say, well, I don't really care about social media. Yeah, I get it. But the problem is this person being referred to you, they don't know that. They just think that, oh, this is another person who was in business and they gave up. So very important that you're accountable for social media. You have it set up correctly. You have good content flowing, going to make a big impact over the long run. And three, as we were looking at that this one sample about when someone's searching, you now need to have what's called a Google business listing. It is free. Okay. There's no cost, but you do have to get verified. So you really should go to google.com/business, click add location, put your company name in there, put your website, go through Google's verification process. Look, if you work from home, don't worry about it. Initially, you'll put your home address in, but you can then hide that. This is going to help you show up on local Google searches. Most businesses like restaurants, accountants, lawyers, these are very important tools. And, it's moved now to the insurance industry. This is how consumers validate you. So obviously very important. All right, moving on to strategy 2. The key to a successful website is not magically being number one on Google for Texas Medicare. The reality is being number one on Google for Texas Medicare is probably impossible. So what you need to do is you have to kind of think to yourself and say, okay, I get it. It's 2023. I know I need to have a website. The consumer expects me to have a website. How can I build this website so it helps me a little bit? And in my opinion, there's a lot of little easy things you can put on your website, which gives you reasons to send people to the site to do things. And again, if we look at this one sample I had pulled up, Michelle has what's called a online calendar on the site. So when someone clicks on that, boom, it takes them into her calendar, and they can now set up a meeting, with Michelle. And obviously, there's automation involved in this where reminders are sent out. In my opinion, you got to have something like that. If you're on the phone and people can't get a hold of you, they might not wait an hour to call you back. You got to give them instantaneous service. So a tool like that is obviously very helpful. 2, you should have some basic forms on the site, such as letting them go in and submit their drug and their doctor and their provider information. Obviously, this is stuff you're going to need anyway during AEP to see if they need to move to a different plan. 2, you probably should have some sort of client update form on here where if they've moved or have new contact information, they can go fill that out on the site. If you're really savvy, you can even attach this stuff right to your CRM. So when they're filling it out, it's going right into your CRM. You don't have to do anything. I talk to too many agents today who keep telling me they're like mailing letters to their clients with return envelopes of, this type of information that they want to mail back to them. That's just not going to cut it anymore. Number one, it's way too time consuming for you. And number 2, most of the consumers, they don't want to do that. They just want to be able to go on their phone, type in some stuff, and move on to the next thing. And then obviously, you should consider having some of your online shopping portals on the site, especially during AEP. If someone calls you up and says, hey, I probably need a standalone dental plan for my Medicare supplement, I got to get a root canal in a week. You can't be on the phone talking dental insurance for an hour in the middle of AEP. You need to be able to say, hey, step 1 is go to my site, click shop online, check out Delta Dental. They got a good standalone plan. If you go in there, you can put your zip code, your birthday, you can see the pricing, you can see the waiting period. You got to have, obviously, ways to help people without talking to them. And then the other thing that I kind of skipped over, but I think is important, is you really should create what I call an AEP FAQ page that maybe is a pop-up when somebody goes to the site. Maybe it's only 5 or 6 things, but I think having something like that reviews obviously the rules, the time frames, how they can set an appointment up with you could be a huge, huge help. I have some clients that are now even making video versions of that, and we're kind of putting that video as a welcome when people hit the site, and it kind of just walks through what things are going to be like. Again, if you have 10 to 20 clients, it's no big deal. If you have 100 clients, maybe you can get away with it. If you have 500 clients, there's no way. You got to have structure to control these people and to create guidance for them. So these are things to think about from a pre-sales standpoint. From a customer service standpoint, I think the number one thing I hear out there is people say, look, I will run a marathon for my clients. I will go above and beyond. And what I always come back to is I go, yeah, that's great. You're out there running a marathon for somebody. What about the next person who needs help? You're out there running a marathon. And what I'm getting at is I get it. You really want to help these people. You want to offer a personal touch. But if you're on the phone with another client and I keep calling you and I keep getting voicemail, or even worse, I get that your voicemail is full, I'm going to think about trying to find somebody else to help me, no matter how nice and friendly you are. The number one reason a client finds another agent is because they can't get in touch with their current agent. So here's probably the best tip of today's podcast. Number one, do a test of your voicemail. Call up from another phone. Probably 40% of the people I call back that are insurance agents, I'm not kidding you when I tell you, I call up, it rings 4 times, and then I hear, the voicemail for this user is full. Goodbye. And for me, if I was a customer and if I heard that, I'm thinking you're dead or you went out of business. So number one, use another phone, check your voicemail. Make sure that it's not full. If it is full, you need to go into your phone and delete the old voicemails. You probably exceeded the amount of storage that you're capable of having. Number two, this voicemail can be a huge tool for you. I'm suggesting that you leave a voicemail something like this. Hello, everyone. I'm on the phone. Obviously, this is our busy season of AEP, but I have options for you. You can go to our website and click on schedule a meeting, choose the AEP review meeting, and we'll call you then. Two, you're also able to go onto our site, look at our AEP FAQ section. There's a lot of answers probably to your questions on there. You can also access our RX drug form or our client update form. I will need this information before we chat anyway. Also, if you like to text, you can text this number and I might get back to you quicker. So again, to me, that's a big thing, is giving people the ability to work with you while you're busy. And I hear it time and time again. People say, I want to offer customer service, personal service. And I keep asking them, what happens if you're on the phone and I can't get in touch with you? No one has ever given me a good answer. Oh, well, I'll get back to them eventually. Yeah, well, that's bad customer service, especially if you just give them a wall. So let's not give them a wall. Let's give them a doorway where they can go do some things before you get back to them. And while they're doing this stuff, it's going to help you do stuff more efficiently. So I think your voicemail becomes a big part of that. And I think texting becomes a big part of that. A lot of people tell me they prefer texting, but nowhere on the website, nowhere on the voicemail does it say that. So how would a consumer know? So listen, I appreciate everyone's time this week. Think about these things I talked about. If you're in a situation where, obviously you need help and you need a better website and help with social media, go to snoozy.com, check us out. We offer services. I would be happy to chat with you. You can go to my calendar, calendly.com/snoozy, and set up kind of a free initial consultation. But like I said, think about these things. Think about what people are looking at when they're searching for you. Think about different tools you can put on your site so that people can use the site. Again, the days have come and gone where people magically find you. You need to have them on the site doing things, and now you're going to get referral traffic. And three, keep in mind on how to offer better customer service when you're on the phone, or if you're sleeping, or if you're on vacation. It's okay to sleep, but if you can offer, like I said, support for the customer while you're sleeping, you're at a different level than everyone else. I appreciate your time watching this, and I'll talk to everyone soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.